the latest.
Good morning, Ariane. I'm here in front of the Astronaut Training Center, and I got to tell you, outside here, it is a beautiful day. It could not be nicer for a rocket launch. I'm looking right at the rocket on the pad here. We're all getting a little emotional and pretty excited. And at about T-minus 2 hours down here in West Texas, the astronauts arrived here. They got out of their truck, and they walked into the training center. There was no frowns on any of their faces. Everyone was smiling. The energy was high. Wally Funk was basically skipping into the training center. I think they're going to have a good flight today. And what they're doing inside is just getting suited up in their flight suits. And they're going to do, final kind of mission briefings just to get kind of refresher here in the early morning hours. And then at T-minus 45 minutes, when they get the go to load, they'll walk right out this door, get into this Rivian, and be on their way to space.
Thanks, Caitlin. I imagine Wally Funk was more like doing cartwheels into the astronaut training center, and I highly expect her to be doing the same to the Rivian trucks. That woman, her energy is infectious, and she has all the reason to be excited today. As we said, she's been waiting her entire life to get to space. All right, we're going to be checking in with Caitlin a little bit later for more updates. But right now, let's turn our attention to the rocket. She's right behind me, just a couple of miles north from where I sit. Now, New Shepard is named after Alan Shepard, the first American to go to space in 1951. 50 years ago. And earlier this morning, as you can see here, New Shepard left the barn and traveled to the launch pad to prepare to go to space.
Let me just tell you guys that this booster as well as this capsule both are not flying for the first time. They have already flown for around like 2 times the capsule and 3 times the booster, if I'm not wrong. So they are using the reusable hardware here. So that is one important thing to note.
On that dedicated rocket for that. The rocket that's over my shoulder here, that rocket will be dedicated to flying astronauts. This flight and going forward for many more to come. This day here at Blue Origin is the culmination of years of testing, learning, and safely proving out the system across 15 successful consecutive missions. With that in mind, let's zero in on New Shepard, the importance of safety and redundancy, and how we got to first human flight.
Okay, yes, their systems are, the best. Okay, listen to the video.
The first time we flew New Shepard, we demonstrated every single aspect, re-entry, parachute deployment, and that mission was 100% successful for the capsule. M2 was about rolling in changes and trying it again. This time we stuck the landing, but we needed to show we could do it again. So that was what M3 was. For M4, we pushed the envelope, lighting the engine just seconds before it would impact the ground, and we perfected it at that time. In M5, we intentionally did not deploy one of the main parachutes.
Здравствуйте, мои дорогие друзья, мои подписчики. Сегодня у нас прямой эфир. Все, наверное, уже давно знают это. Американский предприниматель Джефф Безос, значит, летит у нас в космос.
M8 was just a repeat, and then the third escape test was to show that we could escape in space. So on M9, the capsule lit off its solid rocket motor and landed safely.
Сейчас показывают, как это все будет происходить. В общем, начинаются настоящие туристические полеты в космос. Американский предприниматель, самый богатый человек в мире, Джефф Безос, сегодня совершит полет в космос на корабле своей же космической компании Blue Origin. Это произойдет уже совершенно скоро.
I love hearing from our top engineers, like the architect of New Shepard, Gary Lai, who's joined me here at the desk. Gary's been at Blue Origin for over 15 years and is part of the amazing team that built New Shepard. Gary, welcome. How's it going? How's your day? Anything going on? You got anything on your schedule?
Yeah, I'm a little busy.
Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough. Why don't we launch a rocket? What do you say?
All right, let's do it.
Well, while we got a little bit of time, why don't we get into some of this talk about the step-by-step.
В общем, что нам нужно знать об этом полете?
So we talk at Blue Origin about
Сегодняшний, значит, короткий полет Джеффа Безоса на границу космоса на собственном корабле подведет символический итог его карьере как основателя и руководителя Amazon. Отныне космическая компания Безоса Blue Origin собирается строить дорогу в космос, чтобы наши дети смогли построить будущее. Проблема в том, что пока это не очень получается, конечно. Сегодня, значит, он совершит суборбитальный полет. Стартует ракета New Shepard с Джеффом Безосом. Пуск приурочен к 52-й годовщине первой в истории высадки на Луну миссии Аполлон-11.
Fulfilled all our requirements. We didn't need to change, and we came to the assessment that yes, we are ready.
Fantastic. Now, you know, again, you've been here for now 17 years, I think it is. You've been here since the beginning of the program. The original blueprints, the requirement building, all of that. Talk to me about how you guys approach safety and the safety philosophy that you took as you developed
that is
and
very,
tested
very long, Matthew.
Are flying this rocket.
So we believe this vehicle is very safe and is not just the record of flight tests, 15 consecutive successful flight tests. If it was just that, we wouldn't be able to prove it. The reason we know it's safe is because we have done so much more testing on the vehicle and the components on the ground in much more stressing conditions. Really, what the flight tests tell us is what does the vehicle and its components have to, what are the normal conditions? And then on the ground, we test well beyond those conditions, really until we break it. So when we say it's safe, it's because we know it can take much more than it's going to ever experience in flight. Really, the flight is kind of easy on the vehicle.
Fantastic. I want to turn our attention for just a moment to the next vehicles in our fleet of programs that we've got going on at Blue Origin.
Yep.
New Glenn and Blue Moon. New Shepard really is at the is built into the DNA of those programs as well. We don't just stop with New Shepard. We're going orbital, we're going to the moon, we're going to beyond. Why don't you talk about how New Shepard supports those other programs?
So New Shepard is just a part of the entire story of Blue Origin. Really, if you set out just to make a space tourism suborbital vehicle, you would not have built New Shepard. It would be overly complicated. We selected the architecture of New Shepard so that we could build
мультимиллиардером летит его брат Марк. Часть программы подготовки астронавтов, 82-летняя летчица Уолли Фанк и первый коммерческий клиент, 18-летний голландец Оливер Демен. Последние должны стать, соответственно, самым старым и самым молодым человеком в космосе. New Shepard на коротком активном участке, значит, 110 секунд наберет достаточно скорости, чтобы выбросить капсулу с людьми выше линии Кармана. Это 100 километров. Международно признана граница космоса. Они испытают около 4-5 минут невесомости. Многоразовая разгонная ступень сядет первой вблизи места старта. Капсула же опустится следом на парашютах. Полет продлится около 10 минут и будет полностью автоматическим. Весь экипаж правильно назвать пассажирами.
It goes beyond what meets the eye, right?
Absolutely. So, every system on the New Shepard vehicle that is needed for safety
Перед
has
полетом соцсети полны предсказаниями взрыва,
So, let me give you some examples. So, we've already talked a lot
и
about
то есть и
the escape
традиционными
system.
шутками насчет формы ракеты. Но в реальности Безосу и его команде мало что грозит. Хотя это первый пуск корабля с людьми на борту. На самом деле он 16-й в истории проекта. И 14 раз до этого ракеты Blue Origin отработали полностью без замечаний. Что чуточку больше, чем у лунной ракеты СЛС, построенной НАСА и Боинг, на которой хотят запустить астронавтов после первого же успешного испытания.
would you put your kids on board?
We set out to design this vehicle for anybody, not professional astronauts, anybody with very little training. And that is a very hard problem. And yes, we have succeeded, and I would put my own kids on that vehicle.
All right.
Wow.
One day, summer vacation in space. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate the insights. I look forward to seeing you back here later on in the show, and we'll get a lot more input from Gary Lai, again, the architect of New Shepard. And with that, let's take a breather, check out New Shepard on the pad as we take closer to first human flight.
Так, вот у нас сейчас показывают стартовую площадку с New Shepard'ом.
Flight in during the twilight kind of a thing. So that would be very amazing to see actually, because they have not flown in darkness ever, I think so, which I remember. Whatever they have flown, they have tested in good enough sunlight. But here today we will be seeing something else which will be very tempting to see. So yeah, and I want to add one more thing to their redundancy and everything, their throttle ability, which okay.
Blue Origin's first human flight. We're down here in West Texas, coming to you live. We are T-minus 1 hour and 10 minutes to go until Jeff Bezos,
Okay, let me just finish that. I was saying the throttle ability for the booster. It can literally throttle down to 20%.
Джорджи считает, что Безос станет первым миллиардером в космосе и отказывает в этом Ричарду Брэнсону, опередившему Безоса на 9 дней, но не преодолевшего линию Кармана. Если полет пройдет успешно, в космической гонке миллиардеров начнется новый этап битвы за клиента. New Shepard и ракетоплан Брэнсона переориентированы на космический туризм.
Hover for some time in order to go
Так вот он сегодня
avoid the
полетит, пока
obstacles on the
раскладут.
ground. So
Как всегда,
this New
детский,
Shepard it hovers
юношеские
because it wants to develop
Джеффа.
the landing technology for the moon.
В общем,
So
всяко тут
that is the
воспаляют,
thing which
обычно
we have
принято у
to
американцев.
note here. They can throttle down to 20%, causing the hover capability, which
Вообще, в
enables it to
перспективе
land
в этом
safely.
секторе
So, yes.
можно ожидать интересных ценовых имиджевых войн, но рынок частного космического туризма так или иначе останется скромным. Его ценили не более чем в 3 миллиарда в год, к 2030 году.
What a cool story. Brothers sharing this historic
Ну,
experience
естественно,
together.
мы не забываем про Илона
Mark has
Маска.
been part of the Blue
Это
Origin
настоящий
story from the
соперник
very
Безоса
beginning.
в
He's
деле
been
из
with us
жизни.
every step of the way, and we're so excited to see him on this
Пока он
first human
выглядит
flight.
намного
Taking a
успешнее,
lot of us
скажем
up
так.
there with you, Mark. But we're not stopping there. Second human flight and
В общем,
beyond
небольшая
are
ракета
already in
Безоса
the works.
только
And
начало
yet,
его
since the auction
начало
on
его
June
амбициозных
12th,
планов, значит,
I've had the good pleasure of
ищущий
speaking on the
колонизацию
phone with
космоса
many of the participants from the auction who now have
и
been
его
quickly filling up
мечты о
seats
миллионах
for the
людей,
next
живущих,
several
работающих
launches.
на
Sales
орбите.
are open, everybody. If you're
Это
interested,
у него их
send us
основа
an email
тяжелая
at
космическая ракета
astronauts@blue.com.
Нью-Глен, создающаяся с очевидным прицелом на лунной миссии. Она должна превзойти серийный носитель Falcon 9 компании SpaceX Маска по выводимой нагрузке. Для нее создан двигатель B4, прямой аналог мощных метан-кислородных двигателей Raptor, уже испытанных SpaceX на корабле Starship.
Exactly.
Показана капсула Blue Origin. Сделано, посмотрите, как красиво. Подсветочка, есть боковые экраны у каждого иллюминатора, который ты можешь наблюдать старт ракеты. И ведется даже, по-моему, там идет съемка, чтобы потом ты мог полюбоваться позже. После полета. Фирменный знак Blue Origin. Вот так вот соединяется капсула. Мы видим ее, видите, на боковом маленьком экранчике. Очень сделано красиво и удобно все.
See how large those windows are. I mean, you can literally enjoy the views from space from those windows. That is so cool.
So yeah, Our crew capsule is pretty sweet, very spacious. I should note that that
Ну,
crew
ведется,
capsule
короче,
has 10
подготовка
times the
капсулы.
volume that Alan Shepard had on his flight to space. And of course, you notice those big, beautiful windows in comparison to poor Alan, who just had
Ладно,
to send
пока
a
оно
little
тут
porthole to look out of. Our astronauts today are going to get
рассказывает.
an amazing view. You know, today, as we mentioned, is just the first of many flights to come on New Shepard for that capsule. And let me tell you, as somebody who was at the recent live auction for the very first seat on today's rocket, people want to fly to space. We had nearly 7,600 people from 159 countries registered to bid, huge global interest. And it was just incredible to be in the room when the winning bid was called at $28 million. All that money went to Blue Origin's Club for the Future. It was truly a stunning day, for which we are extremely grateful and extremely humbled. Now, for those of you that are less familiar with our Club for the Future, you might ask, what is Club? Club for the Future's mission is to inspire younger generations to pursue careers
Which
in
is
STEM
the
and to help
best
invent
thing
the
Blue
future of
Origin
life
is
in
doing, in
space.
my opinion.
The club and its collaborators are doing this in many ways, like sending student postcards to space on New Shepard and back, posted them flown in space, of course. They've also been establishing space-focused curricula and providing access to space on Blue Origin rockets. And just last week, Blue Origin decided to spread the love. Blue Origin and Club for the Future announced that these 19 nonprofit organizations you see on your screen here will each receive $1 million from the $28 million.
Wow.
Incredible to see all of that money being used to help get the next generation excited about space. Why don't we take a closer look at Club for the Future, what it is, what it's doing, and where it's going.
And regarding your question, John, one day things will go wrong just as it did with the space shuttle on 2 different occasions. Let me just tell you that, first of all, the technology has advanced a lot since then. So yes,
Здесь
again,
показаны
the
общие
rocket
достижения
industry and the
как бы
rocket
компании,
engines and
тут
the
и
rocket engineering, everything
макет
is very, very hard, and
лунного
anything can go wrong. But again,
транспорта.
since the technology has increased so much that the probability of things going wrong is coming drastically down. So and in case of New Shepard, as they said, this is very much redundant. With every system has a backup system, and they have actually planned every scenario and designed this vehicle according to it. So if there is any problem also, then also the crew will remain safe. So that is the thing which we should be knowing. So yeah, Richard has done
В
it.
общем,
Jeff
почему это все
when's
важно?
Elon going?
На
Elon
самом
will,
деле,
go in
вся
his
эта космическая
starship.
гонка
I must say
миллиардеров.
that. I don't think so. He'll
Ее
go
можно
in
презирать как
Falcon
развлечение
9.
богатеев, высчитывать,
Maybe
сколько налогов там не
Inspiration 4 is
заплатили
coming up,
Безос,
and the
и
Crew Dragon
подписывать
actually
петицию
has the
запрете
capability
возвращаться на
to,
Землю. Но так или
carry 6
иначе,
astronauts,
в
and
нее
4 of
миллиарды
them are
частных
in
инвестиций
Inspiration 4.
развивают
So
отрасль,
you never know. Maybe
а
Elon has
конкуренция в ней
signed up for
понижает
that.
главный барьер на
We
пути
don't
в
know
космосе —
he's
стоимость
going there or
выведения
not.
килограмма груза
So
на
we'll have
орбиту.
to wait and see.
Год назад Маск обещал,
Take a
что
breather, check out New
теоретически
Shepard on
она
the
может
pad
снизиться
as
до
she gets
$10
ready
за
for
килограмм.
first human flight.
Это уже очень и очень и очень мало, считай.
And there you go. You can see these are obviously the plumbings for the fuel lines, as well as, and you can see there is some wear and tear off on the booster because this is an old booster. This is not a newly made booster. This booster has already flown for like 2 to 3 times, I guess, and now it is flying for the 4th time. So yep, they are using the reusable hardware, and same thing is with the crew capsule. It has flown for around 2 times now. So yes.
For joining us live from West Texas, we're here at just 1 hour and 2 minutes to go until launch. We are quickly approaching our first live glimpse of today's astronauts. They're going through their final
совсем немного осталось, конечно, но, блин, еще надо ждать и ждать.
In their Rivian trucks. And now, crew member 7 is a role that gets its name from the New Shepard program. Though today's flight features 4 astronauts, future flights will take use of all 6 seats in the crew capsule. And crew member 7 is just that, the 7th member of each astronaut crew. Now, it's a 2-person role. And here's some footage, in fact, of Kevin Sprague and Sarah Knight, our current crew member 7s. We'll have that for you in a second here. So Sarah and Kevin don't go to space themselves, but they're critical team members that stay with the crew every step of the way, including as voice of mission control to the astronauts during the flight. So it's basically like they're in the capsule with our crew. And you're going to hear on today's flight Sarah as Capcom or capsule communicator. And as I mentioned earlier, I've gone through astronaut experience training, and I can tell you the crew member 7 roles are essential. Kevin and Sarah met me as well as the rest of the crew that I had during training the evening that we arrived in El Paso, Texas, and we were in great hands, in their incredibly competent hands from the beginning to the end of our journey down here in Texas. So a special thank you to Kevin and Sarah for holding it all together for our astronauts. Now, I want to introduce you to another critical member of our Team Blue, Audrey Powers. In her new role as the Vice President of Mission and Flight Operations, she recently joined us here at the desk for a chat about what it's like to arrive at this very special moment.
Yes, Arun,
Audrey,
you are doing
so
the
great to
best
have you
thing.
here. You've been so important to the development of the company and this rocket, and I can only imagine, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling very, very excited.
Yeah?
We had an amazing flight readiness review yesterday, and the team is just so pumped.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so this is not the first time our viewers have met you. On the last flight, you were one of our, what we call astronauts, spelled ASTRONOTS.
Yep.
What was that experience like going through the training and being one of the astronauts?
Well, I was actually there working. I was not just having fun.
Right. No, we know
I was
this.
going through the training to really see how it had progressed over time. A number of us did a review of the training early on, and I'll say that our training has reached such a really great spot for the astronauts. Our human factors team has provided a lot of input. Our CM7 team has spent so much time really focusing on what is important for them to first safely get through the experience and then just really enjoy their time up there. So it was vetting the entire experience and making sure that we cover the right aspects of it.
Right. So I also got to be an astronaut, but I didn't get to do the next kind of critical step, which is getting inside of the capsule on top of the rocket when it's fully fueled, fully loaded, like we did during our last launch and last webcast. You were one of 2. You and Gary Lai went in there. What was that like when you went in there and the hatch was closed? What is that feeling like?
Yeah, the entire tower operation of Astronaut Load was just a very sensory experience. And we walked through the sequence a couple days in advance just to rehearse everything, all of the movements. But on launch day, we got out of the cars and we're standing at the bottom of the tower, and you could hear the vehicle venting. And when you looked at it, there was frost coming off the side, like you see sometimes in movies. And it's just this overwhelming sense
В общем, не рассказывают тут,
this
что
thing
тут
that
как
is ready
готовились
to
тут
launch. And
за сколько-то дней до старта.
People on board, and we're closing the hatch, and we're keeping the people in the capsule to go to space and back. What does that feel like?
Well, we've spent, in recent weeks, we've finalized a years-long effort called our Human Flight Certification Plan. And it culminated in an extensive review over the last month with external reviewers, and our FAA partners were involved. And it was the culmination of the entire program, years of work on this program. And I was so struck by how much work has gone into this across the years and across the disciplines. And the people in that room kind of finalizing all of these check boxes, it was just an overwhelming sense of the history that we had collected of this program. And I was before I came to this position in New Shepard, I supported New Shepard, and I knew the hard work that was going on in this program, but I have been so struck by just the professionalism and the bias for action and just the critical thinking that everyone on this program puts in. And I have been awestruck by people that I have been working with for years. I mean, I knew what great work they did, but being part of it and part of this team, I'm so honored that they wanted me in this position, and that I'm participating in this now. Yeah.
Well, Audrey, to you and to your team, to the whole Blue Origin team, thank you for all of your hard work. We cannot wait to see the launch, and Godspeed, New Shepard.
Thank you. I can't wait to see it either.
Godspeed, New Shepard.
Thank you. I can't wait to see it either.
Okay, so things
Audrey
are
offers
looking good
such
right
great
now.
insight into New Shepard. She's also a pilot herself. Oh, and the chair of the Commercial Spaceflight Federation. She's had an incredible impact on space legislation and policy in some major ways, as well as a major impact on Blue Origin. So thank you to Audrey. She's kind of busy today, so we're very proud to have had her on stage just a couple of days ago. All right, we're at T-minus 55 minutes to go until launch.
С
Let's go
кораблем
ahead and check out
15
New
метров.
Shepard as she gets ready for her flight today to space and back with our
Капсула
first
сама
human
называется вот эта,
And
которая
wow, see
сверху.
the views right now
РСС
as the
Бирстеп,
sun is
в
coming
ней
up,
полетит 4 человека.
and everything is, we can see the early morning vibes from here.
Одно, короче, из главных отличий капсулы Blue Origin.
Wow, this looks so
В ней
good. And we are right now
огромные
around 9
иллюминаторы,
minutes until
107 на
the
71
astronauts
сантиметр.
start coming out of the astronaut training center and for going into
Значит,
this vehicle. So
Но
yes,
столь
things are heating up
компания
now.
выставляет
The
это
sun is
как
coming up,
маркетинговое
and
преимущество даже.
right now everything is
Иллюминаторы
looking
такого
good. We
размера.
are go for the launch, and yes, you can see there is one pipe inside the crew capsule that is nothing but air conditioning, which is being sent inside, I guess. And yep, we are just waiting for the astronauts, which is the Mark, Jeff, Oliver and Wally Funk to come out of the astronaut training center and into this vehicle. We can see those vents. Wow, looks so good, right? I mean, the rocket hardware, gives chills down my body. I don't know, whenever I see them. I haven't seen it in person, but I would really want to see that in person also. And I don't know what will I do at that time, because seeing the rocket hardware in the pictures and in the
В общем,
videos,
ракета
specifically
по
in the
плану,
live streams,
должна
is a
подняться на
treat
100
for me.
километров
I don't know
70,
about you, but it's a
и
treat
после
for me.
этого капсула сама
And
отделится и
everything is
долетит до
looking
высоты
also see this
свыше 100 километров.
fins here has this this
Невесомости,
line, in the middle
значит,
of
они
this
пробудут около
fin. You can
3-4
see that
минут,
one line going
затем
in
приземление на
the
парашютах.
middle of the fin. That is nothing but the fins
Вся миссия должна
are
пройти
in
без заминок,
cruciform configuration, and that is actually
поскольку
necessary
за
because
New Shepard
that
уже 15
enables that
успешных полетов,
your
то есть все они
rocket
были
does not
беспилотными.
actually spin, first of all, and otherwise it remains stable, and it faces one direction only in its whole flight. So that type of configuration for the fins are necessary to enable that.
Training Center. We are waiting for them to exit to get in the Rivians, and then we will be waiting for a go for astronaut
Тренировочный
load-in. I can already hear the
центр для
helicopter
астронавтов
above that's going to be
показали.
following them on their way out. Now, that astronaut training center, what we have in that training center is basically it's a classroom, but I'd say the centerpiece of it is
Напомню,
a
что Брэнсон во время полета 11 числа июля эту высоту не преодолел, он поднялся на высоту где-то 86 километров.
But the simulator that's in the astronaut training center is kind of a a step above, a
Для
step
скептиков
beyond, because
вряд
in
ли
it we
миллиардер
are
в
able to
космосе
simulate the
считает, что не
sounds,
побывал.
the vibrations, the full crew screen and alert system that we have for every single seat. And so during the training, you spend a lot of time, of course, understanding, with crew member 7, understanding the general New Shepard system, all of the procedures, ingress, egress, and getting to know
Мне вот
the
интересно,
team. But
удивляет
you do spend a lot of time
эта
in that crew
американская
capsule.
летчица
And
Уолли
as
Панк,
mentioned, we go through these simulations
которой
of the
82
flights
года.
and of all sorts of
Ну,
different
вообще,
scenarios so that our astronauts feel
в
comfortable,
середине
as we
14
said,
века она
so they can
прошла
sit back
подготовку
and
для
kind of
полета в
enjoy
космос,
the ride. Enjoy
но не
this
стала
incredible
участником ни одной
experience.
миссии.
They've got these huge
Exactly.
windows right next to them. We want them to be focused on that view, focused on feeling the G's as they come on. You know, you're in these beautiful, nice, soft, reclined seats that disperse the G's. It's a wonderful experience. And that simulator, we run these scenarios. We've got full
Воле,
audio.
когда
We've got full vibration.
узнала,
It's a really
ей стало
critical
известно, что в космос
component
можно будет
of
отправиться
the
как турист, она
training
активно взялась подавать
program,
заявки на
let's say.
покупку билетов.
Now,
Короче,
Can
we
you
also,
guys
of course, we will
spot
take them
what is
out
written on the
один из них
nose,
даже
or you
купила,
can say
короче,
the
в этой
top part
Virgin
of
Galactic
the
Branson.
crew capsule? There was some words written there.
Shot there on the left there, but that is the safety shelter. So we'll see as the astronauts drive out
Она,
to
видите,
the
эта
pad
бабушка
itself. They will ascend the
ждала
stairs, the set of stairs on the left.
дюжины
They'll take
такого.
kind of a bit of a timeout
Молодец.
in the
So here you can see, as she said, there is one safety center which is actually not very far away from this rocket. It's very near to the rocket, and they don't have actually like a a specific building or a spot from where the
И
crews
вот полетит же еще
can
этот
it
пацаненок
can be
18-летний.
inside a building, a proper building
папа
structure. They have this bunker kind of a
билет,
structure which is
а папа
actually
владелец
the thing which
инвестиционной
they
компании
go inside first of all, and then
Somerset
finally they go inside
Capital
the capsule. So
Partners,
that is one thing,
Нидерландов.
not like the Crew Dragon wherein we had one full building
Сына
and then
увлекается космосом, у него
that things happen,
изучает разные
and
инновации в
we know
университете его
what happens in the Crew
Утрехта.
Dragon, but that is not the case here with the New Shepard. So yep.
of the astronauts. We're going to see those shine.
Why this fire on the tower? Okay, so this is a good question. I want you to think a bit and remember those early days of Starship and answer the question. You will get the answer if you have seen the early days of Starship.
Full,
Ну, я уже
full,
говорил, в общем, как и
somersaults
Virgin
and
Galactic, так и
cartwheels
Blue
all the way
Origin
into
использует
Rivians. And why don't we
этот
just wait
полет
here
как
for a
отличную
moment
рекламу
as we wait for
для
those
своего
astronauts
бизнеса.
to emerge.
И обе компании планируют зарабатывать на космическом туризме.
And guys, if you want to support me
И в
in
ближайшее время, я
what
думаю,
I
каждый
do,
из них,
and if you
и не
like my
только они,
informations and everything
планируют
and my
поставить
streams, you
туристические
can
полеты в космос
always
на
and
поток,
always become a member
зарабатывать на
of
этом
this channel
деньги
by
для
clicking
финансирования своих
the
дальнейших
join button,
разработок.
and you will get exclusive perks. Or
Например, вот
if you are
Virgin Galactic
favorite
продают
platform
билеты по
is
цене около
Patreon, you
200
can also
тысяч за
become a
полет
Patreon.
долларов.
And super chat is always enabled for one-time
По
funding. It
некоторым
really
данным,
helps me
постоянными
to
эти
keep
полеты
on doing
станут
these kind of
выполнять через 2
streams
года,
and
когда компания проведет
providing you with
все
the
необходимые
awesome
испытания,
knowledge.
получит разрешение построить флот кораблей. Представляете, флот кораблей построить.
We've got our on-the-ground
А вот с Blue Origin ситуация пока неизвестна.
Caitlin, what's going on out there?
Компании не называют стоимость полета для туристов,
So you can
пока
really feel
неизвестно,
the
когда
energy
эта
starting to
информация
build
станет
now. We just heard that everything's continuing nominally
в общем
towards launch. The
доступе.
countdown is moving forward.
Впрочем,
We've got
космический
our
туризм не
helicopters in
основная
the
цель
air
Безоса.
waiting to capture our
А
astronauts that
сейчас
take
Blue
their
Origin
Rivians to the
работает над
launch
тяжелой
pad.
ракетой
The
New
sun's
Glenn,
coming up. It's
которая
a
в
beautiful
дальнейшем
morning.
будут
Our
использовать
teams
для
are going to be
построения
staying on the
большой
road,
космической
hooting and
инфраструктуры,
hollering
в том
as the
числе
astronauts
целой
drive by on their way to
станции
the tower.
города в
I'm
космосе.
starting to get goosebumps
Безоса
over here.
планы,
It's a little bit
конечно,
emotional, but
огромные.
we'll be back in just a
Пусть они
couple minutes,
осуществятся.
and we'll watch these Astros as they head out into their truck and on their way to space.
Fantastic. Thanks, Caitlin. We'll send it back to Caitlin in a moment here as we wait for those astronauts to emerge from the astronaut training center. You know, I'll tell you, the last thing that they do before they exit the training center is there's this special coin ceremony. It's a challenge coin that's given to each one of the astronauts for them to take in their suit up to space and back. it's a military tradition, but it really makes you feel like you are part of a team, and what a team to be part of, what a crew to be part
Кстати,
of.
кто вот
Only
заинтересован в
newcomers,
бронировании
astronauts are gonna
места
be able to get these
у окна,
coins.
так вот
You only
на
get
сайте
the coin if you
приводится
get to go
на
up to space and back. And these
значит,
astronauts again have completed
купить
their
билеты.
training, and they are ready to become the next set of international astronauts. So again,
Можно на
waiting here
сайте
for just
зайти
a moment
посмотреть, сколько
while
чё.
we wait for the astronauts to emerge from the astronaut training center. We are at T-minus 46 minutes to go until launch.
Так, мы ждем. Значит, корабль стоит в башне заправки. С напряжением будем сидеть эти 45 минут и ждать. Когда же это произойдет-то?
So the weather is looking very good for this launch, and yeah, we are go for the launch. We are T-minus 45 minutes until the launch happens, and we should be having the feed from the astronaut training center shortly. Having the Jeff Bezos, Wally Funk, Mark Bezos, and Oliver Damon. The person who travels in a spacecraft is called astronauts. The person who travels in space are called astronauts. So yeah. Yes, I'll be streaming Omkar. Don't worry about it. All astronauts are space travelers, but all space travelers are not astronauts. Definitions for astronauts are nothing but the space travelers. If you want to go in on a mission, then I think there will be some bifurcation in the terms once the space tourism industry is fully established, because the astronaut is like a term used for people going on a scientific missions, right? Says going in orbit and so on. But for the normal people, I think astronauts will be the word for the normal people. But maybe I don't know, I'm not sure, but maybe there will be something else for the people going on a scientific mission.
Кстати, я не говорил, вот, чтобы получить право на полет, вес туриста должен быть в пределах от 50 до 109 килограмм. Рост от 152 сантиметров до 193. О, ребята вышли. Значит, два братика Безосик с своим братом Уолли. Паренек этот 18-летний. Получается, они сейчас что, уже поедут, будут там 40 минут сидеть, что ли?
Crew member 7, Kevin Sprogue there on the right. As well as Wally Funk. What a moment for her. At the age of 82, she will become
Тут узнал информацию, что, значит, Шепард пока стоит 500 тысяч долларов билет. А вот на VSS Unity Ричарда Брэнсона 250 тысяч.
Wally was part of the Mercury 13 program back in the 1960s. The program to train
Кстати,
women
перегрузочки тоже ведут.
ultimately was canceled, but now it is her moment.
А во время полета перегрузка будет, значит, где-то 3G, я думаю, что это не так сильно. А вот при посадке-то 5,5 G ждет, кстати. Потому что и высота не как у Ричарда Брэнсона. 86 километров. А тут 100 с чем-то они летят. 108 или 110.
We
Как-то
do
так
have a
росло.
hold here which we can see of 3 minutes. I think I also have to hold my
Наши
clock
Right
here.
now, we're going to be waiting for mission control.
новоиспеченные
But right now we can
астронавты
Load
сели
out to the pad.
в машину.
we can actually see the astronauts or the people or the space tourists going inside this car and finally going to the launch pad.
Control. Get some last-minute love from our team there, as well as their family.
Так, интернет что-то у нас перегружен.
Families. And what a moment. You can probably hear our team already losing it down here. We are super excited. And there they are.
Ну, поехали, ребята, молодцы.
High fives from
Удачки вам.
everybody. What an incredible moment. They're coming over here just behind my right shoulder. A moment we've been waiting for here. Just a couple yards to my left here, that is mission control, and here they go, passing by mission control. There you see Jeff Bezos waving to the team.
We can see the finally
And they're gonna hang a left there.
yeah, their journey to the launch pad is not very, protected by all those cars and everything. You can see there is just a single car going to the launch pad. I
повторим.
think that is because
В машине,
the
которая
launch
двигается у
facility
нас
is
к
fully
стартовому
monitored,
комплексу,
and I don't think so there
есть
is
экипаж, который
anything,
состоит из главы компании Миллиардера Джеффа Безоса,
else needed
его
on that road
53-летний
right now.
брат
So
Марк
that's why
Безос,
there is
финансист,
no need
миллионер,
for any
управляющий Безос
escorting.
Family Foundation, филантроп и пожарный. 82-летний эксперта по безопасности полетов Уолли Фанк, которая 50 лет назад прошла в проект «Женщина-астронавт на Меркурий 13». Но из-за мускульной политики НАСА в космос не попала, программу свернули тогда. И, значит, 18-летний будущий студент Физмата университета Утрехта и начинающий пилот Оливер Демен, из Нидерландов, он полетит вместо анонима, который решил слетать на другом рейсе. Это сын миллиардера, главы инвестиционной компании Somerset Capital Partners. Вот это наша Уолли Фанк рассказывает, как и что у нее там было. А вообще, пока что самым молодым человеком в космосе считается советский космонавт Герман Титов, ему тогда 25 лет было. Этот рекорд держится уже почти полвека. А самым пожилым астронавтом НАСА Джон Глиен. В 1998 году он на челноке Discovery полетел на орбиту в возрасте 77 лет. Вот так.
You're going to be an astronaut. Oh, finally! I'll love every second of it. Woo! I can hardly wait.
Оля очень рада, походу, что летит.
She is definitely a very fun-loving
Я тоже радовался.
person. We can see, and
Переживать
we
We
can
are
see
just
the
so
долларов.
thrilled
on
and
the
frankly
launch pad.
honored to help Wally Funk finally realize her dream of going to space. Now, recently, I was lucky enough to spend a couple of moments with her right here at the desk. Why don't we take a look? Wally, it is a pleasure
She's
to meet
definitely
you.
a very
As a
fun-loving
fellow
person.
pilot, you
Just
are an
listen to her.
inspiration. So thank you.
You don't know how great it is to meet you, that you are a pilot. I want you to go fly more in that glider and jumping.
Пуля еще
Oh,
блин
well,
самом, блин,
and
это,
hopefully follow in your footsteps and go on New Shepard one day.
Absolutely. Oh,
I mean,
yes.
Так
so
можно
Wally,
сказать.
you've waited a while to go to space.
Показывают
A silly question, but are you excited?
No, no.
интервью с Уолли. На самом
Of
деле они
course.
вот выходят сейчас
Since I
из
got on the airplane
машины.
and I got to fly the airplane and get here and meet all of you, this is so fantastic.
What do you on launch day? What do you think is going to be the most exciting thing? What are you looking forward to the most?
Lift off, climb, undo, and be able to move around in the, if there's room. I want to do a lot of stuff because I've done that in other situations.
Про
And you
New
were just
Shepard
telling me
я
a
уже
second ago, you're going to
говорил.
take your camera up there and you've got a
Вообще,
postcard that you're going to take a
справочка
photo
есть.
with.
Это же считается система для коммерческих суборбитальных полетов.
When I go up, and then I'm going to take a picture of it with Earth
Состоит
behind me.
из
That's such a
одноступенчатой
beautiful
многоразовой ракеты и
of you
пассажирской капсулы
And the American flag back
объемом
there, your
15
flight suit,
кубических метров,
and that's gonna be a
рассчитанной на 6
spectacular
человек.
photo. So, you know, this is probably, I imagine, your first time
Сделанный из
down here in
нескольких
West
слоев
Texas. Is that all
прочной
right?
прозрачной
I
пленки.
used to be in Texas.
Иллюминаторы сами пропускают
I think everything's
92% видимого
fantastic. I mean,
света.
I've been treated so well, and the food is so great. I can't believe it's coming
Почти
from
18-метровая New Shepard автономно
California.
Right?
не
Right?
управляется пилотами,
And you're lucky to be here
инженерами
with all these
Земли,
friends and
оснащена
people and-
системой аварийного спасения
and see what's
экипажа.
going on.
Absolutely. Well, so, Wally, as I said, you've been an inspiration to
Разработкой
me.
вот,
What would you say to
была
the next
мечта в
generation
2006 году.
of young people that are out there that want to go to space?
Well, I've talked to young people all my life. How many of you girls and boys want to fly? Well, not many raise their hands. I said, well, I tell you what, get your parents to take you out and give you a flight.
Right.
That's what my parents did at 7 years old. And if you like it, you'll continue on. And if you don't, you might continue on because something's going to be in your heart that's going to want you to do that.
I cannot wait to see you go to space. Thank you for being with us. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, honey.
Wow.
So yes, as
Wow,
you just
man,
saw,
wow.
Wally Funk is the real deal.
Так,
I
ну
was
вот
doing
ребята
my best
начинают
to contain my fangirl
подниматься.
moment there because she, again, is an inspiration to so many people around the world, and myself included. We see here that the astronauts are starting to ascend the crew tower. There's Wally waving. She's leading the crew. Gary, welcome back. It's good to have you back here at the desk to get you to help with the play-by-play here. We just saw a moment ago that they drove around the ring road.
Так, я
stopped,
попробую
took a
улучшить
photo, because, of
качество,
course, you know,
чтобы
we're
получше
gonna-
было
we're
видно.
memorializing this
Is,
moment as best
can
we
you
can.
mean-
These memorializing this
Is,
moment as best
can
we
you
can.
mean-
These astronauts, they so deserve it.
Just looking at her and how she behaves, can you tell that she's 80-year-old? She has a ton of energy in her, and I mean, wow, that is so inspirational. She is 80-year-old and she has ton of energy, optimism, hope, and everything. She's a very lovely person, I must say that. And many young people don't have that, and she's a 80-year-old person having that. That's a very, 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 very
Идет непереводимая
you
игра
know,
слов.
good thing to have.
Осталось до старта совсем немножечко. Очень интересно. Такие Лёрич двинулся посерьезнее. Кораблик, и тут можно считать их настоящими астронавтами уже.
And the reason I'm excited, but also focused, is that there's quite a bit of technology transfer from New
Надо
Shepard
Брэнсону
to
догонять,
everything from
чтобы
the
соточку
B3 engine with the locks
выше
and
соточки
the
прыгнул.
hydrogen all the way down
Как
to our landing gear.
Джефф
I mean, this is
Безос.
an exciting day for us, and I'm just excited. I don't want to take the spotlight away. It's about New Shepard, and I'm just very proud of this team and then Blue Origin. as a
ребятам
whole.
лифт
It's
сделать.
just amazing. Just amazing day, Caitlin.
Well, we
Ну,
like to
пока
say that New
поднимаешься,
Shepard
блин.
is basically the second stage of New Glenn. So
Попарись.
you're kind of
This
seeing the
is
second stage.
this is the you know the last building kind of a structure which you see before entering the capsule. So this is their bunker kind of a thing.
Так,
If
внутри-то
anything goes
покажите,
wrong,
что там происходит.
during this time they can hide in this bunker and they should be safe. And yeah, the lift is one thing missing from you know, here, but I don't think so. What do you call? That is a requirement right now, maybe in the future, but it is like if you can't
Зрители уже
climb
все
the stairs, can
собрались.
you go in the astronaut
Радуемся,
training?
чему еще пока непонятно, но мы узнаем.
That is a big question. I don't know how the astronaut training happens, but maybe you can climb the stairs at least for the proper, for you to have a proper
Ага.
astronaut training.
Что-то там уже
So I
происходит,
think it's
но
okay. I don't know.
сняли, скорее всего, входной люк.
You know, Gary, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Caitlin touched on it just a second ago, how basically New Shepard is being scaled up to New Glenn. Tell me how you've thought about that, because you're part of, obviously, New Shepard, the architect of New Shepard, but you've been part of thinking about the broader roadmap, if you will, that Blue Origin has.
That's right. New Glenn is a scaled-up version of New Shepard. It does use different main propulsion for the first stage, but the second stage of New Glenn, that engine is a derivative of the BE-3 engine that's flying New Shepard today. And the techniques for vertical landing, which we perfected with the New Shepard vehicle, are going to be applied to the New Glenn vehicle. We have very high confidence that the very first launch of New Glenn will stick that landing on the ship. We would not have that confidence without the New Shepard program.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Jarrett Jones, again, who leads that entire New Glenn program. He has a big job, but he's gotten a lot of help. He's kind of gotten this catapulted help from the development and now the operations and flight of New Shepard. I should note that New Glenn will also carry humans. We've built all of our programs from the very beginning with the intent to put people on board. And talking about astronauts and people, we just saw them enter into the astronaut safety shelter. I would like to highlight one thing, which is, you know, Wally was saying that she could outrun you. She was the first up those stairs and first in the astronaut shelter. So she,
that's
no
what
lie,
I was about to say.
That Wally Funk, she's got quite a bit of energy. You know, people, she's 82.
Wow.
But I'm convinced every time I read that it's a typo, that she's actually 28, because again, that woman. All right. Gary, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's happening in the shelter, because we should remind our viewers that on the last flight that we had, we basically did a full-up rehearsal of what we're doing right now. You were part of that astronaut crew that we had. What happens in the shelter?
Капсулу пока еще, вот они показывают, сидят. Я говорю, настраиваются психологически.
Two main functions. It's a shelter in case of some kind of emergency. If they need to evacuate the capsule very quickly, they can go across the bridge only about 75 feet and be in this shelter very fast. It is fireproof. It can handle a whole set of anomalies that might happen with the rocket. You see those blue tanks against the wall? The shelter has its own breathing supply, air breathing supply, in case of a fire outside. It also has communications. They can talk directly to Capcom from there. Right now, they are just waiting for the go-ahead from the pad crew.
Нервничает он, братан стоит, нервничает у него. Лысина утирает от пота. Переживает, он думает, че я согласился на эту авантюру, блин. На бочке с порохом, до космоса подпрыгнуть, блин. С братиком вместе.
Soon to be the youngest person to have ever flown in space at the age of 18. He comes to us from the Netherlands. A special shout out to our international viewers, especially those in the Netherlands. Hello, everybody. You should be very proud of your country. Then we have, of course, Mark Bezos, brother to Jeff Bezos, our founder, in the cowboy hat. He is a true Texan at heart. You know, we call it the ranch down here. We like to incorporate that into a lot of what we do and the spirit that we have down here at our launch site 1.
Так, прокачка прошла.
The astronaut safety shelter
Ребята готовы.
Let's watch as they prepare.
Все, обратного пути нет.
Guys, in the meantime, they go inside the capsule. Just tell us from where you are seeing this launch. I would like to know that.
Тинг. Это значит, ну что, первый пошел. Смотри, какая у них, они интересную традицию создали уже на ровном месте. Но все равно молодцы.
And Oliver.
Wally Funk,
Парень такой довольный,
and
если
Oliver
честно.
Damon. Ring the
Так что не
ceremonial
светится.
bell, making some noise on their way to get into the crew capsule. Kevin, the crew member 7 that you see there in the black suit, he is now going to help them ingress, get into the capsule, get situated in their seats, and of course help them get buckled into their harnesses and go through any final safety checks before closing the hatch. I mean, we should note though, Gary and I have both been through the astronaut training experience. It's a 5-point harness. By the time you're
Да,
done with
вот в
training,
наши
you can
дни
do that upside
космос
down,
постепенно
backwards with your eyes
становится
closed,
доступнее
inside and out. I mean, you
для
definitely
людей.
understand
Я думаю, еще
how
лет
that
50
works,
пройдет,
and you're
и
gonna need to, because when we come back,
уже
when you get back into
простой
your seats,
работяга с
guarantee
завода
that's very
сможет себе
important.
позволить,
I must say
наверное,
their spacesuits
watch
are
here.
dope.
Отложить хотя
I
бы
must
Across
say
the
that.
gantry, taking
I
some
на
final
один
like them.
photos.
раз
We've
полета
got our
такого.
photographer there, Felix Kuhns. A
Wow,
brilliant
just
photographer who's
just
taken
listen
those,
to that rocket venting right now, and
there they
we
go,
can
into
see
the crew capsule.
the people getting
Gary,
inside.
you want to talk about the hosing and the piping that you see going into the hatch?
So that is just a cabin
Так,
environmental control
Воля
system.
залазит.
While it's on the pad, before we seal the hatch, we want to make sure the air is fresh
Очень
and air
интересно.
conditioned in there. That hose will be
О,
removed obviously during hatch
видно,
closure.
как
And
она...
so what they're doing now is just
Иллюминатор-то
one by
вообще
one
во весь рост,
entering the
никак.
cabin,
Большой
getting
иллюминатор, да.
fastened, and then they will go through a series
100
of
на,
functions.
100 на 70
Fantastic.
сантиметров.
Guys, if you like what you are right now seeing,
Ну, 100 на
just hit
70.
that like button. We
Да,
are
да, всё
on
правильно.
119. Can we make it 200 likes? 600 people are watching. And if you want to, know what I do, I basically
Еще
live
28
streams all the
минут, им там
space
еще будут
events and
часа
the
сидеть-то.
launches and make the videos on space science technology on this channel. So if you like what I do, you can definitely hit that subscribe button. And let's see if
Сейчас
we
эту
can,
заглушку
hit
снимут
10K
эту
before this stream.
дверку,
Let's see.
скорее всего.
So much testing, so much
Ага.
design, so much
И уже
thought,
поставят
and incredibly
герметично
well-trained Blue Origin team that's supporting
люк.
these astronauts, our first crew on New Shepard. Just wonderful. We are ready for today. Now,
And
we
talking about is one person who asked about the escape system. Yeah, Tony Brooks asked how do they escape if anything goes wrong. So they have this escape motor, which is basically a solid rocket motor inside the capsule, which actually ignites if anything goes wrong with the booster, and it has a very specific ability to
Как у нас
ignite while it
показывают
is attached. Because
вверху
if you
центр
see how
управления
this rocket is
полетами
designed, there is one small air gap in between the
Безосского
booster and the
космодрома.
capsule, and from there the plumes and the exhaust can go out without harming the booster. So
У них можно говорить
that
даже
is the thing.
не космодром,
That's a
а
solid rocket boost
космопорт,
motor which ignites
потому что тут
if anything goes
может
wrong.
полететь каждый желающий.
Okay, so you can hear the
идет
Capcom right now,
привет по связи.
the mission control as well as the people inside the
so
crew
again,
capsule.
we've got Capcom Sarah Knight. She's one of our crew member 7 on the left.
Что-то там принесли.
Our 4 astronauts are loaded into the capsule.
Okay, people are watching from Jaipur,
There's
India,
Wally Funk in
Serbia,
her seat.
Virginia, Oman, Florida, Germany.
As well as
Wow.
mission control.
South
Talk
Africa.
Talk about locked and loaded. This team is really, I mean, you've been in
Switzerland,
mission control
Brazil,
during these launches.
Oklahoma.
What is
Wow.
that
Юля,
like?
походу, там уже заснули.
So
Pilot
at this
here.
point in
Hi,
the procedure,
Russell.
everybody is incredibly focused. They're true professionals. They are looking at the data, they're following procedures. There's really no distraction. You can hear a pin drop in that room unless they're working an issue. And as you saw in that picture, we run a very, very tight ship here at Blue Origin and on the New Shepard program. That picture of the front room of mission control, that is all the people that
Проверяют
are
всё.
operating the rocket at this point, in terms of pushing the buttons to make things happen, in addition to the pad crew.
Идет последняя
There you see,
проверка
we've got crew member
предполетная.
7 that is making sure Wally's harnesses are all tight
При
and
подобной
snug there.
невесомости-то
Now,
стегнуться
to your
сами
point
смогут.
about crew, Gary, I
Как
mean, we talk
упаковываешь
about
там.
designing an autonomous vehicle that launches and lands and we reuse, but we've built also the
Ну, вид,
operations to
конечно,
also
через
complement
такие
that, to lower the cost of
огромные
accessing to
иллюминаторы
space,
на
because
Землю будет
that's at the
шикарный
heart
просто.
of building this road to space. So we've built it so that it's an efficient vehicle, efficient operations.
Absolutely. So in addition to that front room, which is really just a half a dozen people and some backups to relieve them in case they need a break, there is an engineering back room right behind that room. It's the size of a small conference room, really.
Можно сказать, что мы
Engineers that are there
с
just
вами живем в такое время.
Window. I think right now
Вот
the
сейчас,
you know,
в
the crew
данную
number
минуту,
7 is
вот
actually
именно
placing
сейчас,
that picture on the window, sticking that
мы
picture on
свидетели
the window.
рождения
Which she
космического
wants.
туризма,
Hey, there she waves the hand. That is
который, я
cool.
думаю, что будет
Yeah,
разрастаться
there's
и
a picture.
разрастаться со
You
временем.
Look,
can see
yeah,
that.
you said catch
Oh, there
Wally.
she is.
She was waving at you, Gary. Oh, and is that? I think that's the postcard that she promised everybody she was going to be bringing up to space with her. So not only is the crew ready, but we got the props ready. We've got the photo shoot all set up.
So we have people watching from all over the world, Ireland, Bangalore, India, and all over the world. So just sit back and relax. We are right now T-minus 24 minutes until the launch. Right now the crew members are going inside the capsule. This process is not known as crew ingress, and they are just suiting up, buckling up, and finally the crew number 7, which is actually their instructor, is making sure everything is all right, everything, everyone is buckled up, and they are good to go. And finally they will be closing the hatch, checking the pressure inside the capsule, and then finally leaving the launch pad. So that is the thing here, and finally we will be seeing some first human space flight for Blue Origin in this stream.
Jeff Bezos and Oliver Damon on the other side.
How many
of the
crew
hat.
members? Uttam Prayagraj. Okay, so there are right now 4 crew members, but it can accommodate 6 of them.
Again, he comes from the Netherlands. So beautiful. Again, as we talked about at Blue Origin, we really want to open up this experience to the world, and it's so wonderful.
Okay, Clinton,
that he is
people watching from Iceland, one day maybe from Iceland also people can see the rocket launches. That would be so cool.
This is Blue Origin Mission Control. Good morning, astronauts, and welcome aboard the RSS First Step. Let's get things started with a comm check. Astronaut Oliver, how do you read?
Blue Control, astronaut Oliver, loud and clear.
Copy. Astronaut Wally, how do you read me?
Эта девушка поддерживает связь с кабиной. Экипажа видно.
Copy, Astronaut Wally. Astronaut Demo.
Чувствуете все там замечательно, похоже.
Blue Control, this is Astronaut Demo. I have you loud and clear.
Copy. Astronaut Bezos.
Blue Control Bezos, I read you loud and clear. Thanks for everything, Sarah. We appreciate it.
It's my honor and my pleasure. All right, astronauts, we are at T-minus 21 minutes and counting. As we proceed, I'll keep you updated. For now, just sit back and relax.
Fantastic. Wow. And there you heard it. All 4 astronauts are ready to go to space. They just had a quick comms check with Sarah Knights on Capcom, one of our crew member 7 there. You've heard all 4 astronauts are jazzed. Wally there was, I'm sure she's a bit distracted again. We've said this before. She has waited over 60 years from the days that she was part of the Mercury 13 program to go to space. That program to get women into space was canceled. But you know what? She is canceled no more, everybody. She is going to space. Such an honor to be able to help her realize this dream of going to space after so long. What a moment!
Exactly.
What a woman that that really personifies perseverance and pushing through it.
Finally,
All
the
right,
hatch
here we go.
closing.
We are closing the hatch. Gary, do you want to talk a little about what happens when you close the hatch? Obviously, it's a pressurized vehicle. What does that mean with regards to closing the hatch there?
So the
Exactly,
hatch has a
Labrador.
double seal on it. There are 2 sets of seals. So what they're going to do when they close the hatch to make sure it is properly sealed is they're actually going to pull a vacuum.
Так, у нас запечатали люк, все уже.
To make sure that vacuum doesn't decay. And that checks the integrity of both seals.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Now, I understand that we've got Caitlin Dietrich again on the ground. We've got an update from her. Caitlin, what's going on?
В этом, похоже, конкретно его
she's almost ready. So
герметично
let's
очень
hold off on
закрывают.
just a moment for our update from
дай бог.
Caitlin Dietrich. In the meantime, let's watch here as the tower crew continues to
Я думаю, что
close the hatch. Make
очень
sure
хорошая
that
система,
the
тем
pressure
более она
seals are
автоматическая. Так,
all ready to go. There we see Mark Bezos giving the thumbs up.
система спасения
Yes, there are
отработала
cameras
очень
on
хорошо.
board.
на
I don't know how many of them, but I do know that there are some cameras on board for sure.
У нас остается 19 минут до старта.
Gary, you know, we mentioned again that you have gone through the astronaut experience. You went through it. Actually, here we go. I think we've got Caitlin. Just a moment, Gary. Hold that thought. Caitlin, what's going on out there at Mission Control?
Hey everyone, so basically we've actually left Mission Control, the porch, and now we're at what we call Fallback 3. It's on basically the entrance to the road to space. And right here is where the astronauts drove by. They went all the way to the tower. You can probably see it there in the very distance. Here we just closed the hatch and everything's looking nominal. And basically what's going to happen is once the once the capsule is under parachutes, we have a convoy here right behind us that's going to be racing out to get that hatch open and celebrate after their victorious flight to space. So that's what we're all preparing for here after their 11-minute flight. So we're pretty excited.
Wonderful. Thank you so
Very
much, Caitlin,
huge,
for that
Fred.
update. Gary, so you, as we were just closing out that question, so on the last one, you actually were in the capsule, right? You and Audrey Powers, who we talked to
Так, ждем исторического запуска.
when they close the hatch. What does
Осталось
it feel
совсем
like?
немного.
It's actually quite tranquil. After the excitement and all the helicopters and ingressing and that adrenaline, you have a moment in the capsule now to reflect when the hatch is closed. It's actually pretty quiet. You've got hearing protection in just in case. You can still hear Capcom, but you have a moment to reflect. The fact that you're seated, reclined in a seat next to a window, directly next to a window that is so big, you can just turn your head and feel like you're floating right on the edge of the rocket. And
exactly.
We've designed it that way so that when you are actually in space, you don't have to turn your head, you can look right out.
Ну, они сегодня очень много говорили о Безосе и других членах экипажа.
We said earlier it's 10 times the volume that Alan Shepard had on his flight, but it is big, and the windows make it look big. That light acoustic padding make it look big, and then once you're floating up there in space over the carbon line in zero G, it kind of adds a dimension to it.
Yes, we wanted that spaciousness. We wanted that sensation of floating. Really, if we were able to do it, we would have made the entire capsule transparent.
That is kind of a cool idea. Is that for the next iteration? You working on that? Is that in secret? All right, we're not going to release those information on our webcast, but stay tuned, everybody. All right, we're going to toss it back to Capcom. I understand that we've got a special message from Christina Bezos, sister to Jeff and Mark Bezos.
Okay, so
В общем, ждем. Сейчас должен быть уже скоро запуск. 15 минут осталось.
Let me just tell you a brief about their mission profile right now. So what will happen? They will there is only one booster. There is nothing else like a second stage on it because they are not going to the orbit. They are just going to the space, which means they will just go straight up and then come down. That's it.
Ну, только вот одну ей, по-моему, и весело. Остальные переживают.
Okay.
Steve and I are so excited for this monumental launch. Jeff, this is something you've dreamed of your whole life, and your passion for space is infectious. Mark, you're the best champion when it comes to encouraging us in our adventures. As you buckle in, I'm reminded of when Jeff was Captain Kirk, Mark, you were Sulu, and I took the role of Lieutenant Uhura. We would battle Klingons while firing torpedoes, all the while dodging in and out of traffic and praying that we make it to our destination safely. Mark, be prepared to fire those torpedoes if ordered to do so. Now hurry up and get your asses back down here so I can give you a huge hug. We love you, and Godspeed, New Shepard.
Он говорит, что люблю вас, держитесь там.
Wow. Yes, they will
Вот,
cover
и
the
посмотрите,
command line.
сколько это компания Blue Origin почти вся собралась, чтобы вот поприсутствовать на действительно настоящем историческом событии.
Wow, man.
Они все-таки все первые занимаются, скажем так,
So we are on a hold
коммерцизацией
right now.
космоса.
At T-15 minutes.
Говорят,
This
что
is not a
даже
built-in hold, but this
тоже,
is a
по-моему,
hold which they can manage.
сейчас в конце
So that
июля
is the
или,
thing.
если точно не помню, по-моему, 1 августа Маск собирается в полной сборке запустить
So let me just tell you about the mission
свою
profile
ракету
about for
Starship
this rocket. So I was telling, yeah, there is no second stage
посадкой,
on this
по-моему,
booster on this rocket
в
because
мае
this is not going to
остров
orbit. This
Мауи,
is just going to
там
space,
вроде
going straight
должна
up and then coming
сесть.
down. Okay, and that's why the delta we required, or the change in velocity which is required, is very less. The maximum velocity that the booster will experience is around 8,000 kilometers an hour. And compare it to the Falcon 9. The Falcon 9, when it reaches the orbital velocity, it experiences around 21,000 kilometers an hour. So there's a huge difference in the velocity. Okay, first of all, first thing is that. Second thing is, you must be wondering how will they experience 0G. Right? I mean, there is no as such, they are not in an orbit, so there is no centripetal force cancelling out the gravity. So how do they experience the weightlessness? Well, the answer is the cutoff of the booster. Once the booster cut off and the capsule separates, it's just coast upwards, okay? And okay, just a sec. Yeah, it just coasts upwards. So at that point of time, what happens is when it is coasting upwards, there is no air. It is almost at the edge of the space. So there is no air. So there is no deceleration. Right now it's just coasting upwards and then coming down. And then also when it is coming down, also then also there is no air drag. Responsible for providing any kind of drag. So in this period of time, it basically experiences no as such drag to give any sort of gravity. Okay, so that's how they experience 0G. It is similar to what you have when you just throw a ball upwards. Okay, so what happens when you just throw a ball upwards? You give it an initial velocity, and then when it just coasts to the maximum height, it is actually at a kind of, you can say, approximately experiencing 0G at that time. Yeah, air is there, so not exactly, but since the scale is also down, so you can say that. So we are right now T-15 minutes. Everything is looking good, although we are at a hold right now at T minus hold for 3 minutes right now. Okay, let me just update my counter here. What is the planned altitude for this launch? Unknown user says. So the planned apogee for this is around 105 kilometers. That should be there. That should be happening. And it is obviously going above the Kármán line, the internationally recognized Kármán line, that is 100 kilometers. So that is a plus point for this flight. Not from the highest point, actually, Tirtha. You can feel the the weightlessness when the rocket just cut off its booster and then it is coasting upward, because at that time there is no acceleration going there because of the deceleration, I mean to say, because of the air. So yeah. we are that hold I think is basically because of you know, the main what do you say, the astronaut 7 there, they are.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us live from West Texas. We are here at T-minus 15 minutes to go until launch. We are in a brief hold. We've got our astronauts that are loaded into the capsule. You saw there just a moment ago, we had Oliver Damon on the left, in the left window. To the right of the hatch is our founder, Jeff Bezos. Coming around him is Mark Bezos, and on the opposite side of the capsule is Wally Funk. And again, we're just here in a brief hold, but while we have a moment, let's throw it back to the pad and catch out some of those shots of our astronauts as they get ready for their flight to space and back this morning.
Okay. How long will be the hold? I guess they are just waiting for the, you know, the instructors or the crew number 7 to leave the launch pad, and once they have left, they will start the countdown again. I think that is the case happening here. And if I ask you guys, if you have, you know, you are given a choice of traveling to space, and the choices for traveling to space given to you are the Virgin Galactic's VSS Unity or the Blue Origin's New Shepard, what will you choose? Right now, just tell me what will you choose, and if you can, why also. So right now the fuel is being topped off, which is nothing but funds. You can see that you know, there is venting coming out of the rocket. So because of that venting, basically that venting is nothing but that liquid oxygen going to the gaseous state and then coming out of the fuel tank to, you know, stabilize the pressure. And since now that liquid oxygen has you know, gone from liquid to gaseous state, so you don't have that much of liquid oxygen left for the flight, and hence they need to top off again and again, which means nothing but you know, fill in the liquid oxygen again and again so that it refills and they don't waste any drop of liquid oxygen.
Months designing the mission, and if we need to take a couple of minutes more to make sure that the team is aligned, that we're all set and sorted, that our astronauts are happy, that the weather both on the ground and up aloft is within green zones, then we're going to do that. How do you guys think about holds when you're in mission control?
Okay, so
right now.
Okay.
There's really two kinds of holds. There might be a hold while they investigate an anomaly, and very often that is not the case, though. There are sometimes holds just to catch up in the timeline. The thing about New Shepard that's distinct from orbital vehicles that you might have seen is that we don't need to launch at a precise time to meet some launch window because we're trying to intercept something in space. We have a lot of time. We can take our time. It's better to pause and hold if there's any reason to.
Считанные секунды до старта.
Investigate, or you just want to catch up in time. So that's why we tend to take these holds. Otherwise, we bias to launching as soon as possible. So we don't always have a lot of buffer in the normal count.
There you go. Hold is gone.
Now I understand. The hold is
Смотри-ка, это отложили, еще сделали 14 минут. Ну, чертик, да?
Timelines all aligned, our teams are all sorted, and we are continuing our countdown. While we have a moment here, again, let's throw it back to the pad. Check out our astronauts in the capsule as they get ready for their launch to space and back this morning.
Это дополнительное время нам внизу включили, а так... Нет, все правильно, да. Отложили маленько, значит, что-то там перепроверяют.
There are some answers coming up of the Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic. Just a sec. Let me just have this timer corrected. And it should be good now. Okay, so we are having the Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, Virgin cheaper and safer. Okay, I will choose Virgin Galactic.
Until launch here, got goosebumps going already. Again, the adrenaline is building and the energy is building up here as the clock ticks down. And while our astronauts and our teams are going through the final checks with our crew member 7 and the launch team,
Мне кажется, что, по-моему, сами ведущие больше радуются, чем космонавты, сидящие на корабле.
And they've logged hundreds of hours in space, and they offer a keen perspective on what our first human flight astronauts are just minutes away from experiencing.
I find it's very interesting that people can look at a picture of Earth taken by an astronaut, but they don't get that change inside that actually being
Это
in
значит,
space.
астронавт
It is
с
one of
шаттла
those things
рассказывает
that you
о своих
kind of
впечатлениях,
do.
потому что наша Земля прекрасна из космоса. И многие космонавты наши, российские, советские, которые летали на станции, на орбиту вообще, и работали там. Все очень находятся под большим впечатлением и стараются до максимально возможного возраста все-таки оставаться в экипажах, которые меняются, летают постоянно на мир, ой, на мир, господи, на Международную космическую станцию.
And I think every astronaut who goes to space is changed by it in some way.
На днях будут запускать станции модуль «Наука», новый наш. Из такого российскому сегменту МКС. Показывают пробные полеты Шепарда. Ну, все они проходили отлично, и система безопасности срабатывала тоже отлично. Вот показывают, как должен произойти весь полет. Линию Кармана должна пересечь капсула с пассажирами. Сама ракета садится на площадку где-то, не знаю, по-моему, в 3 километрах, что ли, от стартового комплекса. А пассажиры уже на капсуле при входе, можно сказать, в атмосферу, они на парашютах опускаются и около самой Земли срабатывают типа пиропатронов, чтобы она остановилась буквально. А у нас еще целых 10 минут.
Okay, it looks like we are go for the launch and
all right, thank you everybody for
За
joining us
запуска
again.
будем ждать.
Sorry about that. So we got so caught up in the flight profile and the perspectives from our NASA astronauts. We just caught the tail end there of the go no go poll. But I'm hearing that we're looking good for flight today. So let's get back into that flight profile, Gary, that you were telling us about here. Again, how are they getting up to space? Over the Kármán line, the internationally recognized line.
Он говорит, что они пересекают линию Кармана и так далее. Это международная линия, не считается космосом. Принято международная организация. Так что Брэнсон не долетел до нее довольно-таки далеко. На своем USS Unity он долетел только до 86 километров. Безос, вот Безос уже будет по-настоящему в космосе.
And then start their descent. The capsule, the booster will actually re-enter first. It's more aerodynamic. Before it hits the atmosphere, it deploys wedge fins on top to stabilize it, and then uses those aft fins to steer back over the pad. just over the pad, about 20,000 feet above. It deploys drag brakes to slow itself down, and then restarts its engines just seconds before.
Вообще еще неизвестно на самом деле, потому что Безос многоразовую вот эту ракету New Shepard с капсулой, по-моему, он даже раньше Маска сделал, испытал ее. А Falcon 9 Маска уже позже начала садиться на платформы или на стартовые, на посадочной площадке.
Above the ground. First drogues will fire and those will extract the mains. And then finally a landing will occur on a cushion of air which will fire just about 6 feet off the ground.
Exactly. So that summarizes the mission profile.
Итак, у нас уже все ближе и ближе, 7 минут. 50 секунд осталось до старта, мы ждем. Надеюсь, больше не будут откладывать старт.
For first human flight on New Shepard. My goodness, I mean, you've been waiting for this day for 17 years since you joined Blue Origin. What are you feeling right now, Gary?
It's still hard to believe that it's actually here. I don't know if it's set in yet, but the main thing I'm feeling is I'm thinking about the entire team, past and present, the hundreds and
Ведущий, надо сказать, чтобы она успокоилась, не она в космос летит. Что-то руками размахалась.
And for your convenience, guys, I do have something for you, and
в общем, там все под впечатлением, конечно же. Джефф летит в космос.
Now, for the others that are watching around the world, if you want to experience space flight for yourself, if you want to do what Jeff and Mark and Wally and Oliver are doing today, and you're serious about it, send us an email at astronauts@blueorigin.com. We're open for ticket sales to send you all to space. What just an incredible, incredible day. And, you know, we're so lucky to have this particular crew on board today, Gary. And I feel like, you know, not only do we have this beautiful story about the Bezos brothers that are going up, and Wally and Oliver, soon to be the oldest and the youngest astronauts who have ever flown into space. Oliver, that's representing our international friends out there, taking the Dutch flag to space, you know, and then again Wally, who has been thinking about going to space, well, her entire life, but certainly since the 1960s, and she was part of that program that got canceled, and she just kept fighting until recently we said,
so
hey, Wally,
we are around T-5 minutes and 30 seconds until the liftoff. Everything looking good right now, and Jeff Bezos inside, Wally Funk, Mark Bezos, and Oliver. Everyone must be very, very excited, and I can assure you, Wally Funk is basically, you know, living her dream right now. She has waited for this moment for her whole life. She's 82 years old, but then also full of energy. And we are T-5 minutes until the liftoff to occur. I'm getting so excited right now.
Мои зрители, начинаем скрещивать медленно пальчики за спиной на удачу, чтобы Джефф и компания все слетала нормально, без эксцессов.
Yes, and someday in the near future, we will be over 570 just on the New Shepard program.
Can you imagine? Are you going to go up?
Absolutely.
You can go up with me?
Sure.
You in, man?
Awesome.
Okay, we are T-4 minutes and 20 seconds to go until launch. What an incredible moment. Let's check out
Грубо говоря, 4 минуты осталось.
Here we are awaiting. The rocket is going to go into some last-minute checks on the vehicle. At T-2 minutes is when the vehicle throw the show over to her. It's all on her. It's an autonomous vehicle. But Gary, do you want to talk to us about what are some of those last-minute checks that the vehicle is going through?
не на государственной основе, а именно частниками, которых теперь появляется все больше и больше. Жалко, что не в России, а в Америке, но все-таки для развития всего нашего человечества это очень-очень много значит, это большой шаг в развитии и популяризации космонавтики вообще.
Which will wiggle the engine gimbal as well as the aft fins. They're not only wiggling those surfaces, but they're making sure that there's no stiction and they travel smoothly.
Fantastic.
No, don't go anywhere. Just take right now. We are T-minus 3 minutes until the launch. Everything is looking good. I'm getting so excited. And you will certainly see that, this, what do you call that structure from where people go inside, that arm, that will retract for, clearing out the range for the New Shepard.
And liquid hydrogen are what are the propellants in the engine. It's
Вот у нас со всех возможных ракурсов у камер начинают показывать корабль New Shepard.
And that's what creates a nice soft landing, because as it comes in, of course it's not filled with all the propellant that it had on the way back up. So if we throttle it back, kind of like an airplane, it comes in for a nice, soft landing. And
man, T-minus 2 minutes and counting.
A trip to space and back. Again, this vehicle, we've had 15 successful flights on. Again, we're looking forward to this 16th one, of course, a very special one with people on
Так, у нас 2 минуты.
Oh man, and there you go.
Так, у нас
The bridge is retracting.
корабль отошел
Oliver on the left, Jeff Bezos on the right.
от причальной мачты, вернее, причальная мачта отошла от корабля.
47 seconds, guys, this is happening. Whoa.
Так, дорогие друзья, сейчас будет интересно.
Looking good. New Shepard is good. Passengers must be good. And T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds. Finally, this is the time when Blue Origin will debut its flight with humans on board, and the first time only the first flight has its founder on it. So that's so cool.
In the cabin, because it'll sway the stack back and forth.
And you should be seeing the engine video and F-fins check here.
Отчет.
See that movement in the F-fins. T-minus 1
Так,
minute.
вот, пошло время.
Just peeking out at the base of the rocket.
This is finally happening. Oh man. We can see the engine video.
Видно, проверяют сопла.
T-minus 38 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Blue Origin's first human flight. Godspeed, first crew of New Shepard. Let's light this candle.
T-minus 28 seconds, guys. This is happening. Oh, I can't control myself right now. T-minus 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10.
Все, пошли, ребята. Я за вас скажу наше слово. Поехали! Ну давайте. Ну вот.
And New Shepard has cleared the tower on our way to space with our first human crew. Go, Jeff, go, Mark, go, Wally, go, Oliver, you are going to space.
They must be experiencing the time of their life right now. T-plus 33 seconds, everything is looking good. 380 kilometers an hour.
Высота так измеряется.
Velocity increasing rapidly right now. Altitude is also increasing rapidly.
Oh my goodness, listen to the roar of the BE-3 engine. We are just about to pass through max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. That's when the stresses on the vehicle are at their
Все,
maximum.
значит, New Shepard достиг скорости звука. Превысил ее только что.
beautiful burn on that BE3 engine. Liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen as the propellants. It's a nice, not just clean in terms of beautifully performing, but what comes out of
С
it,
капсулой-то
it's
есть
steam,
связь?
right?
Посмотреть.
Yes, they bought a weapon and
Как их там это самое?
See,
Просто
we want the
интересно.
internal views, please, please, please.
the engine underneath the rocket, just under our shoulders, and to
Right,
know
it will reach a top speed of Mach 3 right now, and then it should be able to
it
cut
just
off.
feels different, doesn't it, Gary?
It is totally different.
Wow. Right now, the engine cutoff will happen at
All
around
right,
T
you can
plus 2
follow
minutes and
along,
40
of course,
seconds.
the speedometer in the bottom left.
Right now, the
altimeter
engine is
in the,
running,
middle of the screen there.
going to the space.
So
Wow.
far appears to be a nominal flight.
Everything is looking
All
good.
right,
Отличная
coming up
скорость
here on
животных
Nico,
развита.
main engine cutoff. That will be followed shortly by separation. And at that point, after separation, we're gonna let the astronauts unbuckle and take in the freedoms of zero G.
And there
is
you
Nico,
go.
main engine cutoff.
Так, смотрим.
A beautiful shot down
Wow.
New Shepard rocket. Look at that view.
Это еще капсула не делилась, получается, пока еще. Да.
This is totally
Вот сейчас
awesome.
скоро должна делиться капсула.
Awaiting separation here.
Вот, пошло отделение.
And right now, they must be experiencing zero G right now. Wow.
Сама ракета сейчас будет замедляться и
And here
падать,
we are.
а
You can start to see
экипаж, он все равно
standby.
продолжает
You can see
лететь
the separation of the capsule from the booster
из-за
itself.
ускорения
This
еще
is what they're
лучше.
experiencing, guys. You can see it in the animations
И
too.
вот сейчас
Yes,
они
please.
пересекают
The Wolfram, Jeff
линию
and all are here.
Кармана.
Oh, wow. Yes, the flame is almost invisible because of its water vapor.
Вот, все, они пересекли ее и находятся в космосе. На вернее сказать, на низкой орбите Земли. Видно, что уже разделение
And there we
прошло теперь.
go. Our astronauts have passed the Kármán line at about 328,000 feet, continuing their ascent. You see the two vehicles there. When the speed hits zero, you know that they've hit apogee, their maximum altitude, and you hear they're having
At least we are getting
an
the
experience.
Покажите видео-то изнутри капсулы-то. Все пошло вниз у нас.
wow. I'm very jealous of them. I also want to go to space.
1 minute warning. 1 minute warning.
Слышны только радостные возгласы там, блин. Походу у них там весело, но я думаю, что позже все-таки нам покажут видео из капсулы самой, как они там в невесомости барахтаются.
Oh, there is some beeping sound also there. Wow. Okay.
Слева у нас показано, как приземляется сама ракета New Shepard. Ну, бабуля Оли там вообще что-то там кайфует. Блин.
Astronaut Oliver.
Ой, блин.
Blue control, Oliver, status perfect.
Copy, astronaut Wally.
Wally. Blue Control, Wally is boosting.
Шепард приближается к
Copy,
Земле.
astronaut demo.
Astronaut demo, revive me.
Copy, astronaut Bezos.
Сейчас пройдет включение двигателя Нью Шепарда.
You can see it coming down, and right now the west fins have been deployed.
Что-то у них там
Copy.
с видео.
Air brakes will, and shock waves. Air brakes have been deployed, and
Вот сейчас.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us live for our first
Всё, сейчас
flight on
идет
New Shepard. So far,
включение
nominal
двигателя.
flight. Our booster is about to return to its landing
Вот
pad.
оно прошло
There we
включение.
see engine relights. The sonic boom.
И у нас сейчас стопудово сядет, потому что это отработанный момент уже. Вот, Нью Шепард садится. И можно доставлять его обратно на стартовую площадку, заправлять, а потом капсулу снова ставят сверху, цепляют, и можно снова запускать туристов в космос. Села красиво. А у нас, значит, уже они... Капсула уже... Ага, вот она падает у нас. Должны отработать парашюты на определенной высоте. Со связью ребятам надо подработать, что-то обрывочная такая у них.
Stand by drogues. Stand by drogues.
Так, сработали парашюты.
Stand by main. Stand by main.
Так, сейчас раскроются основные купола, должны открыться.
So far, a
Слава
nominal
богу.
flight. Here comes the
Там
crew
все, наверное,
capsule
вздохнули
back from
очень
space.
глубоко.
The drones
Сейчас они раскроются
deployed.
полностью.
Here the mains out, reefing and coming to full inflation.
Все, и капсула очень сильно замедлилась.
And now they're coming floating back down at just about 15 or 16 miles an hour.
Где-то
About to
двигается
join us
на
home. Back here in West
километров.
Texas after having gone over the carbon line, the internationally recognized
Извилю
line
самое
of
уже будет
space.
примерно на
The world's newest astronauts.
нас 20
Gary,
метров.
how you holding up, friend?
I am speechless.
Wow.
I'm
Big, beautiful windows.
We've just got about a minute and a half of floating before the activation of the skirt jet for a soft touchdown. At this point, there are sensors on board that are detecting how high they are above the ground. Multiple sensors. And just 6 feet above the ground, that cushion of air will puff, and they will have a soft touchdown, almost like just sitting in a chair. But I'm sure their adrenaline is pumping now.
Хотелось бы увидеть видео из кабины, вернее, из капсулы самой.
Oh man, I am speechless right now. I can't just express my emotions in
Сейчас
words.
сработают пиропатроны, которые
And
практически
there are
замедлят.
birdie also.
Там летает квадрокоптер, снимает дополнительно
And
еще посадку.
we have
Сейчас
the
работает
through
и
rockets fire,
вот
and
так
there
вот.
you go.
And touchdown. Welcome back, New Shepard's first human crew.
Вот тебе и
What?
новоиспеченные астронавты.
What a
Welcome
flight.
back to Earth First Step. Congratulations to all of you.
What a day, what a day.
People on this capsule, and we're so grateful to everybody who made this possible. Thank you. Blue Control, Oliver, thank you so much for everyone there. It was amazing. It was
Ну, все явно находятся под впечатлением.
Copy First Step. You have a very
Радостные,
happy
слава
capsule
богу.
in here as well.
Весь
Let's
полет
do a
прошел
send.
нормально.
Astronaut Oliver.
Blue Control, astronaut Oliver, status correct.
Copy. Astronaut. Copy. Astronaut demo.
Сейчас подъедет команда и будут отцеплять руки экипажа от кресел, разжимать пальцы.
Copy, everyone. Go ahead and remain in your seats. Crew member 7 is on their way. Shortly, you will hear the capsule off-gassing.
Did anybody have to start altitude or altitude? I didn't.
Right now, when Wally Funk come out of this capsule, na, just see her energy.
Wow. Группы спасения свои.
Blue Control, your apogee was 351,210 feet.
Which is?
Это интересно, в скольки они километрах от старта приземлились. Так что у них с видеосвязью. О, все радуются, вот молодцы.
They actually flown.
Что мешали
They have made a
вылезать?
record right now. They have flown for their apogee was 107 kilometers. The highest they have gone was 105 kilometers before, and now they have gone at 107 kilometers. That is so cool.
I was the helicopters. I was surprised at how easy 0G was. Yeah, it felt very.
По-моему, бабушка Оля лучше всех них перенесла этот полет. Делятся своими впечатлениями.
Wow, what a day. You can see our the world's newest minted astronauts there on board discussing their incredible flight of a lifetime up to space and back. Wow. Our team is now preparing landing safety operations.
Подъезжает группа.
Crew has already minutes ago has left the barn there to go open the hatch. You can see them there. They're arriving at the capsule in the Rivians. You can actually also see that the parachutes fell very close to the capsule. It means that there's not much wind out there. It's a beautiful, beautiful day.
Exactly. Guys, just hit the like button if you love what you just saw. Just hit the like button. Right.
Очень правильно, они проверят наверняка состояние, здоровье, как там, все ли в порядке с экипажем.
On the prediction of landing, we use weather balloons that we launched throughout the morning, and that gives us a very good idea of where it will land, which is within 1,000 feet. What you're seeing that they're doing right now is Kevin Sprogue, crew member 7, is just making sure everybody's okay and gives them a thumbs up. They're also grounding.
Любят американцы побегать, порисоваться.
You could accumulate pretty significant electric charge. That's actually why we prefer that the astronauts not get out themselves, so that we can ground the vehicle of static charge, which can be quite strong.
Exactly.
Excellent, and I think there that Kevin Sprogue, our crew member 7, has given the thumbs up. For all of our astronauts that are on board there, again, Jeff Bezos, Mark Bezos, Wally Funk, and Oliver Damon. What an incredible day. You heard them on the audio. Best day ever. I mean, this is I feel like this is our best day ever, and we didn't even get to go up to space. I mean, what a day. Again, congratulations to the entire Blue team, our astronaut crew, and of course the friends and family of these incredible astronauts. They're just about to exit the capsule.
Сейчас у них начнется столпы. Напротив капсулы, вот тут уже и репортеры подбежали тут.
Felix is up here.
Wow. This was the best webcast that I have ever seen. I must say that.
The main parachute line front hatch.
They're just pulling the strings for the parachute. Cool.
Okay, take the side, take the side.
They're just moving one of the main
Безос
parachute
показывает,
lines to
что
make sure
вообще
that the
обалденно
space
полет прошел.
And there's Jeff. Thumbs up.
CC safe, Jimmy.
You heard there, the CC is safe.
No, I got it stuff. No, I still got it on my slide.
Confirm. Okay, go. You can go. Go to the camera.
Jimmy! Jimmy!
Gary, the architect of New Shepard, congratulations to you, man.
Congratulations.
Give me a
to
hug.
you.
This is just. Ugh. What a day.
Wow.
Again, thank you everybody for joining us live for our first human flight of New Shepard. Our 4 astronauts went to space and back, topping over 350,000 feet, well over 100 kilometers. They've come back down safely. We're just waiting here for egress. Our crew is going to get out of the capsule and meet their families back here on
Так
the
они
ground.
встали
Those
со
families
своих
that have provided
кресел
so much support
сейчас.
I'm just
since they were little
smiling and
kids
smiling right
and
now.
dreamt of this to this day and this moment.
Лестницу-то поближе пододвиньте, и...
This is the moment, guys.
а то после невесомости это
Open
оступится.
the hatch.
И конфуз получится неожиданно.
Caitlin, you ready? Family, are we ready?
Ну все, у ребят получилось, молодцы, конечно. Первый, естественно, выходит Безос, Джефф. Бабуля в прекрасном состоянии. О, молодец, осуществила свою мечту. Уже шампанского принесли.
What a day again here, a successful launch and landing of the New Shepard rocket and crew capsule with our first human flight crew there.
Все
Jeff
получилось.
Bezos, Mark Bezos,
А
Oliver
компания
Damon,
Blue Origin
and
вообще
Wally Funk.
молодцы. Все отработали на
And their
ура.
families there giving big hugs all around. What a moment, so much emotion from all of them. The elation. Did you see Wally? Did you see Wally when she came out? You know this. I told you she was probably going to do a summer, cartwheel as she came out of that capsule. What an incredible day. Let's just capture a couple more moments of this. Again, space flight. So much engineering, so much objective, hard engineering, technical thought that goes into it. But when you put people on board, there's such an incredible emotional component to this. The time, the effort, the blood, sweat, and tears, you know this better than anybody else. Again, congratulations, Gary.
Thank you, Ariane. And congratulations to the entire Blue Origin team. This might have looked easy today, it was anything but easy. To design a vehicle like this that is so safe that anybody can get on board.
From Wally Funk, who today became the world's oldest astronaut at 82, to Oliver Damon, who became the world's youngest astronaut at 18. He joins us from the Netherlands. Again, big shout out to our viewers in the Netherlands. Congratulations.
Oh my God.
You should be very, very, very proud
What did
of your
I just
countrymen.
see?
Ну, а мы, дорогие мои друзья, подписчики, будем тоже закругляться. Ну, что я могу сказать? Все у ребят получилось. Они слетали в космос и вернулись. Конечно, это всего лишь 10 минут, но это большие 10 минут для них, во всяком случае. Да и для вообще людей тоже.
The friends, the family, you see our CEO, Bob Smith there. You see a couple of our other executives, of course, this crew safety team. And it's champagne time, everybody.
В общем, молодцы ребята. Шампанским побрызгаются.
It's the only proper way to end the space flight.
Exactly, the only proper way to end a space flight. With a champagne shower. And man, that is, let me just tell you, that is the beginning of the celebrations. There is a lot more to come. We are, again, not just the crew and the families, but everybody at Blue Origin who has made the historic day possible. Oh, there's a big hug from Jeff to Wally Funk. A beautiful moment there. For a woman who was denied her opportunity to go to space in the 60s. She had to wait to the 2020s, but man, it was worth the wait. There you see the Bezos brothers hugging it out. Oliver Damon, you saw him earlier giving his father a big hug. What a moment. You saw the first hug when Jeff came out of the capsule to his mother, Jackie, followed by his father, Mike. I mean... Again, what a day. What a day. To the thousands and thousands of members of Team Blue, you contributed to today as well. I know you were all hugging it out back in Kent, Washington at our headquarters near Seattle, sending you guys a lot of love from down here in West Texas. What a moment.
Wow.
Look at this girl.
This is incredible.
I mean, granted, you know, Gary, we weren't in the capsule, but my favorite part was hearing, you know, the hooting and hollering and the laughing. You know, Jeff is known for his big, boisterous laugh. I mean, he's having the moment of a lifetime here, and you can only imagine as they were floating around up there. You saw them say, hey, gosh, look at the views. Gary, is this as you had expected it? 17 years ago when you joined Blue Origin, you know, we like to we like to, you know, start at the end goal, work backwards to make the design, and then build forwards.
This
when
is
you
so
sat
emotional
there
right
17
now.
years ago with the very small team at the time at Blue, is this what you would imagine?
It's certainly what we hoped for, but with the size of the team, when I joined Blue Origin, there were only 20 of us in a warehouse, and it would have taken a huge leap of faith to think that we could have gotten to this point, but we have.
Just incredible. You know, I've been here 7 years. We were at 300, so man, you got me beat by a lot there. But you know, I can remember when I joined the team, and we were talking about the moment, the day that we were going to fly people. You know, you talk about it, but it's here and it's now. And I remember we were talking about, okay, well, what will this video look like, and what will that video look like?
Oh,
It doesn't compare. It doesn't matter. This is real. This is so much better than anything that we could have ever imagined. again, the emotional component to human space flight. We've had 15 consecutive test flights, which, as you said earlier, is why we knew that we were ready to put people on board this rocket. And that's what led us to today. To know that we could do this safely, and to give people the experience of a lifetime. And I think based on what we see there, I think job well done, sir. Job well done.
Exactly. Not only did we do it today, we can do it again and again and again and again.
Precisely. Absolutely love it.
Whoa, man.
That was amazing. Everybody,
That
I want to
was
thank you all for joining us from
amazing,
around the world
extraordinary, incredible.
for today's Blue Origin historic first human flight. It's been a moment for the ages, and guess what? We're just getting started. We've got 2 more flights this year and several more in the coming years. I want you to join us a little bit later today. We're going to have a live press conference on our website. You're going to get to hear the firsthand impressions from our 4 astronauts that went to space and back. But to all of you out there, if you like what you saw and you are serious and interested about reserving your seat on a future rocket ride to space and back with New Shepard, we've got some exciting news for you. We are open for ticket sales. Send us an email, astronauts@blueorigin.com. We can't wait to fly you to space and back. Gary, it has been an honor to share the desk with you today, the architect of New Shepard. Thank you so much for your insights. Thank you so much for all of your hard work and all the hard work of your team that has made today possible.
Thank you, Ariane. It was unforgettable.
Absolutely. The road to space is being built, everybody, and we took a huge step today. But we also need your help. If you're interested in learning more about Blue Origin or joining our extraordinary team, please visit our website. And if you'd like to commemorate today's historic launch, we also have some mission patches